All right, let me just double check, make sure all my audio is working correctly. It is. All right, so we're going to be talking about Crosswind today. Crosswind is a game that is still in early development, very early development, but it's definitely going to be one that we're going to be trying out. So I got into the content creator part of it. Welcome in, Skunk Monkey.
So if we,
all notifications are turned off. So if you click follow or any subs or anything like that, I don't believe they're going to trigger right now because this is going to be a short stream, but I'm going to be uploading it to YouTube. And we're going to be going over some of the things that are in Crosswind, and I've been able to talk to the developers and get some answers for some of the concerns that I had about the game, because we all saw how Skull and Bones went down, and I had some definite concerns with that. So we are going to be going over some of that with the trailer, the roadmap for Crosswind, what it looks like for the future, when the first playtest is, and I don't know when the second one is, but I can definitely tell you there's going to be a second playtest. So if you didn't get in to the first playtest, don't worry. No, I haven't got the key yet, but I have been told that I will definitely get a key. So they said they're not going to be releasing them until they get closer to the playtest time, which is going to be in May. So currently, if you didn't get in, there was only a handful of people that they were going to hand it out to. But the second playtest is going to be much larger. They're going to try to push it out to the standard of MMO. And I don't actually know exactly how many they're going to push it out to. But I know this first one's going to be just kind of a handful plus streamers. Streamers or content creators are going to have access to it. So I am really, really, really looking forward to it. And the more I look into the game, the more excited I get about the game, because I found other things that they have in it that I was not aware of. Still haven't got creator status, but do you have access to that main content creator site, Skunk? Morning, brother. I hope you're doing well today. Yay, Ian. Yeah, doing pretty good today. I got called off of work this morning, so I should have done playing with viewers, but I have another thing that I have to be at 2:00 today, so it wouldn't work out. Like we wouldn't have enough time to play. But definitely next week we will be. I am off next Saturday, and we will be playing with viewers in Sea of Thieves. You can see the channel? Okay, that's good. That's good, because you go up to the top, the pinned comment, it'll tell you that if you're in there, you'll have access to a key. So let's go over a couple of these things in Crosswind. So if you guys are unaware, I'm just going to give like a broad overview of what this game is. It is a pirate-themed MMO survivor. I would also say kind of a Souls-like type of game. It's not being labeled as that, but I'll show why I say that in a little bit. Remember, this is all early access. I mean, not even early access yet. It's still in early development. So some of the critiques that you might have, remember, it is very, very early in the stages of development for this game. So what we're really looking at is the core concept of the game, to make sure that, is this something that we're going to be interested in? So anything that's like visually, or it seems like it stutters a little bit, that's all the way that those games are being developed. So we'll go into it with a little bit of grace towards them. But Let's take a look at the trailer itself first. Now, notifications are turned off right now. So that's the opening trailer that they have for the game, and you notice the ship-to-ship combat kind of reminds me of Black Flag, and I think that's how they're actually portraying it. Is that it's going to be the naval combat will be kind of like Black Flag. I don't know as far as like the details go. Is it going to be like Black Flag where you only have your own ship? Because they're also saying that there will be PvP. PvP is going to be a little bit different, though. It's not like Sea of Thieves where you don't know when somebody's going to attack you. PvP is going to have its own other category that you have to queue up for. So it's the people that you're going to be going up against in PvP are all knowingly going into PvP. You don't ever have to touch PvP if you don't want to, but I'm pretty sure I saw on their development page that they're going to have some kind of, I was going to say cosmetics, but they called it vanity. So I can just chalk that up as maybe there'll be some PvP type of vanity pieces that you can only get through PvP. I'm not 100% sure until we actually get to the playtests, though. I hate how high my expectations are for this game. That's one of the things that I asked. I got to speak to the developers on this game, and I asked them, can I stream this game for the first playtest? This is going to be the first open playtest. I believe they've had a few, like a handful of playtesters since last July, but this is going to be the first open one where they put out, whoever clicks on the Steam page and wants to playtest, you can click the button and try to get in. They were expecting to get a handful of people, and I think on the first day they had 15,000, which is far beyond what they wanted. And as it stands today, there's over 80,000 applicants. So the interest in this game has exploded exponentially. And I can tell you, I've seen Hippo, Spammels, and Fuzzy Bond, as well as a lot of other Sea of Thieves streamers that are involved in wanting to portray this game. So the first playtest that I believe they said it's going to be coming in May, you're going to see at least a lot of different Sea of Thieves streamers playing this game on stream. So we'll get our first look. The developers did ask, because of that expectation, they're like, please be gentle with us. This is still early on in the game. that they're still trying to figure it out. So if there's some stuttering or if things aren't working right, like they're still hammering out the bugs because they've only been able to test this MMO game with a small number of people. And so this is going to be the first time it's going to be displayed without an NDA. They're not withholding anything, which I think is amazing. They're going to display it, and it's going to kind of show where their weaknesses are. I wouldn't even say, like, even if the game's crashing the first time, don't hold it against them. It is still very early. It's not even in early access yet. There's only going to be a few of us that have access to this game right away. You can avoid PvP entirely in this pirate game? Yes, because the game is divided into, I want to say 2 separate groups, but it might be actually 3. So it is a PvP survivor type of game that you can go to pirate infested waters to go do PvP. PvP isn't even going to be just like one simple area. There's going to be different types of PvP available to it, and I don't want to go over that until I actually know for sure. But I've gone through a lot of their content, and there's actually a lot to the game that they have, at least visually. I don't know if they've completely pieced it all together, because they said for this first playtest, there will not be any PvP access. They want to hammer down the essentials of what makes the game function first. Like, that's how early we are in the game. And once they get that nailed down, then they'll move on to other things. But for the main part, if you're used to Valheim, this is going to have a lot of mechanics like Valheim. It's going to have a lot of crossover in building for that. I don't know about structures. Like in Valheim, you have a certain architecture that works. I don't know if when they said that they're talking about building height and architecture, or if they're just talking about building materials and placement is roughly the same. They didn't clarify any of that. So you're playing it today? No. I'm just putting out. So I'm doing a small stream because I got called off today, and I wanted to give enough time to be able to make a YouTube video out of this stream as well, to go over some of the things that I've been talking to the developers on. I know another game to want to play, no time to do it. So, Corndog, this is the cool thing about this game. When it comes out, it's going to be free to play. Doesn't cost you a thing. And it'll be MMO, so it's going to be a great pirate community game that has a lot of crossover for a lot of our communities. And here's one of the main things that I want to bring up, because when I was talking to the developers, one of my main concerns was when Skull and Bones came out. It was supposed to be another pirate crossover game. It was going to kill Sea of Thieves. Within the first 5 minutes of the game, it was like, I can't stream this. There's far too much cussing and swearing in it for our family-friendly type of community. So let me bring this up, message that I sent to the developers. So I had asked them a question and they had answered me. And so I had responded, amazing follow-up question though. I run a family-friendly channel. Will there be a lot of cussing, swearing in the game? I didn't see anything in the trailer, but I have a large group, 32 family-friendly pirating streamers with their own communities that would only play this if there's no cursing. If there is cursing in the game, will there be an option to disable it? That's usually our question. Like, why doesn't anybody ever make an option to disable swearing? And I was kind of hoping that since it's this early, if they come into it with that mindset, hopefully they'd give us an option to disable it. This was their response. As of now, we're not planning to dive into anything overly mature in terms of language. Think of Pirates of the Caribbean vibes, plenty of cheeky banter, and the occasional I had to look this word up. tender. It's not the word that I use. Uh, but nothing explicit or packed with strong language. I like the sound of that. That said, the game does include themes like combat, death, a bit of blood. So while the tone is playful, it does lean slightly more mature, more mature overall. We're doing our best to keep the dialogue clean and fun, but as always, viewer discretion is advised depending on your audience. That was a remarkable answer I was not expecting them to give. So that part right there, keep the dialogue clean and fun. Now they got me on board for this game because we're just looking for pirate themed stuff that we can go, get loot and not have to worry about it. Skull and Bones, they took like a hard nosed foul language thing, and I didn't like the mechanics. Like nothing really flowed for me in that game. It just did not have any of the redeeming qualities of a quadruple A game. This one is free to play, and for our family friendly type of communities, I think it's actually going to be really good because it's got a lot of different elements that seem like they're going to be a lot of fun to play it. I never played Skull and Bones. I got into the early play test for Skull and Bones. I didn't purchase it myself, but I had the same kind of questions that I did here, and I was able to get them answered with the early access that I got there. And I knew within 5 minutes, I was like, this game is just, it hit so many no's for me for Skull and Bones. Not to get too deep into it, but their language, their characters, the combat system, the unimmersive ships that you can get. Like they were all so detached. I'm used to games like Sea of Thieves where there's a ton of immersion into the game. You literally feel like a pirate. This game, it doesn't quite look like it's going to be exactly the type of same. So I don't think it's going to be like a Sea of Thieves killer or anything like that. However, it will have a lot of things in it that I think are going to draw people in. The survival aspect of it is not going to be a very heavy survival where, you're constantly looking for food, you're starving to death. It's not going to have that aspect of it. Those mechanics will be in there, but they're not going to be so heavily focused on. But you can also make your own bases by themselves. So that means each individual can make their own strongholds. And I don't know how exactly they're going to cross them over with multiple people yet, but we'll see how that actually goes. I played a bit of Skull and Bones and wasn't impressed. Yeah, that's the way that I was with it. It just did not. Hey, go for. Sorry, I don't have the alerts on, but thank you for the Prime sub. If I miss somebody that subs or follows, please excuse me. I had to turn them off for it. But let's go through why I say this might be a little bit like a Souls-like. Down. Make sure that that's coming through. All right. So this is the first boss that you'd come across. Notice there, he actually lit his weapon on fire. And he has the boss targeted like you do in Elden Ring or Dark Souls. Parrying and dodging is going to be a part of it. So if you see in that, it had a lot of the same type of elements that you get in uh, Elden Ring or Dark Souls. Wasn't quite as difficult. It didn't look like it was as in your face, but definitely had the same elements in it. These mechanics are what I'm looking for in State of Decay. I haven't played State of Decay yet, but yeah. So I think that's actually going to be some really interesting mechanics. Is I don't know if you saw in the gameplay trailer. Let me go back here. You see these creatures, like whatever in the world that thing is. Because they have creatures like that, if you've ever played Elden Ring or Dark Souls, when you have creatures that you're just absolutely not familiar with, it's not like a warthog or, a giant elephant, a creature that we're just like, oh, okay, so it's got tusks, I stay away from the front. Those kinds of mythical type of creatures, you're going to have to learn as you fight them, what to look out for and stuff. So I think having a game like that will keep you kind of on your toes to learn the fight the same way that you would in Elden Ring. So I think that part is actually going to be pretty interesting. And I have it paused right here on the ship to ship. So from what I understand, hitting the backside of the ship is where you're going to deal the most damage. So it's going to be more about helming and keeping people broadside, which I'm very curious on PvP. How many ships will be able to fight in PvP? And will you be able to take your own? I don't know if they're going to have like guilds or how they're going to make that work. I would imagine that they'll have some type of like a guild thing or a clan. So we'll see how many get to actually queue up. I think that that'll actually be fun as well. That's what I actually wanted out of Skull and Bones was big fights with giant armadas. So hopefully we can get that out of this. I don't know if that's actually true or not. Once again, we'll have to wait until, it'll have to be after this next playtest. But let's look at the roadmap for this game. So the first story arc is 30 to 40 hours of swashbuckling adventure. 3 biomes with unique resources, enemies, and bosses. Survival gameplay, building, and crafting. This little thing that they have here where you see the tower built up, that was in the initial video or the initial trailer. And I think this is going to make for some pretty cool things. I'm hoping that they have within this like a way that your bases could be attacked, either through naval. They said it won't be PvP, but who knows what's actually going to be coming on the regular thing. 3 new playable ships plus 1 merchant ship. I have no idea what that actually means because we don't have access to it just yet. Ground and naval combat. So they had said on their Discord that combat will be 70% melee. So some type of swashbuckling. There's different weapon type. There's a lot of different weapon types, but they say that's what it's going to mainly be. But you do have access to some ranged weapons. I don't know if there's skill sets that go with them. I would imagine so. But we'll have to delve into that as it goes on. The Tortuga Social Hub, early prototype. That doesn't give it like a whole lot of like, what does that mean? Don't know. But if you all know Tortuga, that's where it is like a central hub for pirates. So that'll be interesting if they allow for your own base. And then if you want to get into a hub to deal with other people and it's in Tortuga, that would actually be a lot of fun. That's the way that the Pirates game for Pirates of the Caribbean, like way back in the day, that's where you would go to interact with other people. Is you go to Tortuga, and what me and my brother used to do is you could play poker while you were there. And since my brother and I would be sitting next to each other, we would know what our hands were. And so we would up chip people and then drop a certain amount. So that way we kept raising the stakes. And we were playing pirates. We were just cheating everybody out of a bunch of gold. It was a lot of fun. We won almost every hand that way. I'm so interested in this game. Yeah, I am totally pumped for this game. I can't wait to get access to it. All right. So the adventure continues. Story unfolds. This is what's in development. 2 new biomes, 3 unique bosses. The reason why they're saying this in this way is because it has been in development for several months before this. It's only now that they're opening it up to more people. So to us, it seems like a brand new game, but to the developers and the people that have been working on it for the last few months, this is the progression that they're at right now. So, combat improvements, crew companions, refined naval gameplay, ship progression, and customization. They do want, I believe on initial launch, they might not have all of the ship sets or sails down yet, where you can customize them to different things. But that is the plan or the goal. So I'm looking forward to that. Ship crew on deck. So I believe, don't quote me exactly on this yet, but I believe from what I can understand is you will be in charge of your own ship and you can get crew members that you then have to keep up on their morale and stuff like that. And that's what dictates shipboarding. I don't know if shipboarding necessarily means you can yourself board another ship and fight them. I can't wait to be able to play test and see how those mechanics work out. I really, 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 really hope it's not like Skull and Bones, where it's like a random roll of the dice and one side wins or not. Like that game was nothing but immersion breaking. So I really hope that as we progress this in this game, that they do listen to it. It sounds like they're going to listen to a lot of content creators because they've allowed a lot of us to get access to playing this game. Not yet, but they're going to be having a mindful ear of some of our suggestions. And like I said, I'm not even a big streamer in this game, but I was able to ask them a question. They responded. I asked them a follow-up question. They responded. They are very attuned to listening to the content creator side of it. They gave us our own access to their Discord. So if we had questions or we wanted to bring up things within our communities that we were seeing that something that we thought might add to the game, they will listen to us. I can't tell you how excited I am about that because I've been part of a lot of games in early development, and the ones that usually strike the best chord are the ones that they don't necessarily have to do what you're asking, but they at least hear you out and give a response. They don't just ignore you. I absolutely love that. And we're not even there yet. We don't even have our keys to get into the game yet, which I think those are going to be coming probably in the next few weeks because access begins in May. Hey, Michael, welcome in. Parrot mode as well. So what else do we have? Multiple in-game activities, improved character customization and progression, tutorial and intro. So, yeah, so it's going to have a lot of cosmetics or what they call vanity in the game, which from what it looks like, it's all going to be pirate themed stuff. That's something that, truth be told, I feel like Sea of Thieves has been stepping away from. They've been doing a lot more themed things, but not necessarily pirate themed things. And I feel like for me, that's a little bit immersion breaking by the way that they've been doing that. So, let's see, do I have anything else in here about the game? I don't think so. I think that was about it. Yep. So, do you guys have any questions about this game? I am like so stoked to get in to this game. And like I said, if you want access to this game and you're just now hearing about it, you're not going to be able to get into the next or to the first playthrough, but they're going to have a second, and they're going to have a lot more people coming in. What, you don't like the Destiny ships they're bringing? The same thing with the Halo thing. That is very immersion breaking because it's not anything pirate themed. Which, okay, so like games like the finals, you're an avatar in the game. They can have like literally anything in there. That's why they got, giant bunny heads running around killing people, and that's not immersion breaking because the whole point of that gameplay is you are an avatar, which could literally be anything. But in a pirate themed game, I feel like they're taking a step away. Like they used to have a lot of stuff that fit a pirate theme, and I don't know if they're hitting a wall or if they're just wanting to do crossover. I'm not going to impugn any attention on them. It is just simply immersion breaking with a lot of the stuff that they have been adding in. And Sea of Thieves is an immersion type of game. Like the ugly Halo. Yeah, that was the other one. Is like, there's some things that I can kind of see. Okay, maybe they can cross it over with some type of pirate theme or something like that. But when it's a sci-fi specific, it is absolutely immersion breaking. The Destiny stuff wasn't bad. They picked the most pirate-looking character to make out of an outfit. I actually haven't looked into it. I just saw like the ship set and stuff, and I would like to see a lot more. Like that was something that I would have to actually give to Skull and Bones. Is they did have a lot of pirate themed things that I think should cross over very easily. That the Ori ship set. Well, there's a lot of pretty ones, like the Frozen ship set isn't necessarily immersion breaking, and it's not exactly pirate themed, but it floated across the line fairly easily as looking at it as a nice ship set. All right, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there, and I'm going to upload this one to YouTube because I really do want to get some people invested into this game. Who is it? I think the one person that actually did the regular setup, like how they did, I only know of one person that got in that way. That was Skittles. He's part of Skunk Monkey's community, and he was a random draw of 100 out of 2,000 people that they did. But after they did all of those, they decided, you know what, maybe we should get some content creators in here. And they left that one uncapped. So if you're a content creator that wants to contact them and get invested in this game, let me know. Either send me a message and I will share with you the link for the application, and we'll get you in. Well, I can't say we'll get you in, but I'll at least give you the application so they can decide. Because this game has me very interested in where it's going. It looks like it's got a lot of elements that I like. I actually like survival now. I didn't used to. It's pirate themed, and it's appropriately pirate themed. Definitely feel like a pirate just looking at a lot of this stuff. And it's got some fantasy to it, and it's got the PvP. So they said that when they were asked about, how heavy is PvP going to be, the reason why they're putting it in there is because they know that there's going to be a lot of competitive people that want some PvP type of challenge. And so they're going to give them that. And their focus is on replayability. So they're not looking towards making things difficult just to make them difficult. Even on the PvE side, they're looking for what is the most enjoyable play that you can have, and the difficulty will be set at that. So it's not simply hard. I won't even do a comparison example to that one, but they do want to keep it enjoyable and repeatable. Backhand Charlie, thank you so much for the follow. New life plan, quit job, play video games to catch up on the games. Well, see, that's one of the things that I'm really excited about this game is that we're going to have a game where we're not capped on the number of people. At least it doesn't seem like it. I would really like to be able to roll with everybody that we have available in an MMO. I don't know exactly what group size you'll get. Like, for instance, Pantheon is considered an MMO, but you can only get 6 people in a group. So I don't know how that's going to be with this game, but we'll see how this goes. I am very, very, very excited about this game. And so you'll hear me talking about it. Any updates that I get on it, I'll post something about it. And if you guys have any questions in YouTube, put them down in the comments section. So I'm going to be following up with this game a lot because I have access to the developers and they listen. It's so amazing. I absolutely love that. So I will definitely be following up with this, and we will see you guys again later. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Y'all have a good one.
Set sail once more with a hearty laugh and a fearless heart. He's the king of the stream right from the start. Yo, Ibefatbeard sailing through the night with Ivy faithful by his side. Everything's alright in the sea of games. They rule the tide. Together they conquer side by side. From the shores of Thieves to the islands far, chart their course by the evening star. With a treasure chest of joy and cheer, their streaming tales we hold so dear. Oh, I'll be